Alright, so we're back on the next job site here. And this one's a doozy. This is a fence that the neighbor put up to stop the other neighbor from cutting back in here to get to their property. And I'm not saying that I don't blame them. Well, let me show you how this fence goes. There's a gate down here. And they ran that fence around and ended it right there in front of the gate. So the neighbor absolutely could not use that anymore. So sometimes it helps to get along with your neighbors, I guess. But right now I got to take this little section out just so I can get the excavator back in there, because we got some work we got to do, and I'll show you in just a minute. Alrighty, here's what we got today. We've got a area right here where it came in, water kind of curves back this way, so I'm actually going to dig some of this out so it kind of keeps more straight along the path there. But it kind of turned back in here with all the rain we've been having, and it undermined this whole area. So we're going to dig out as much of this as we can, and then we're just going to backfill this with clean dirt. Get some good fill dirt put in there. We're going to pack it in as we go, use geogrid to tie it all together, and then at the end we'll put some fabric down with some riprap and line the banks along here to make sure that it's not going to get eroded out anymore. And so that's our project for today. And this has got a steady flow of water, so I got to try to get it so that I'm not getting any water on our work area there, so we can compact this down. Well, I haven't done a lot of videoing today, and the reason is because I've really had to focus and concentrate on what I'm doing here. This right here was earlier today, and I did get some video. I don't know if you can see the steepness, but this right here was a hump right where this is, and then just went straight down. So what I did is I took that hump out. So we got to take all these roots and cut them and then grade this out a little bit better. And I took the compactor and packed all this in real good, and, you know, drove back and forth on it a little bit and then packed it in real good. And that gave me a level surface to work off of to then cross right here, because I tried to cross over there. It was too wide for the tracks, and so the tracks were barely going in over there, and I couldn't get traction to pull myself up there with. So I abandoned that and came down here where it was more flat, and I cut this level and set it down here, and then turned and worked this way after that. And so I was able to pack all that in real good, because that part of the slope is pretty stable. It was all this part right here that had slid down. So we took all that and raked it down, packed it in, and then compacted this real good. And we're gonna put geogrid on here, and then from tomorrow we're gonna start dropping dirt up there, and I'll just reach over the side, and there's gonna be a lot of spreading dirt by hand, but I'll dump it out over the side, and we'll just keep building it up and doing lifts and using geogrid along the way to get up there and reshape this hill, and then run geogrid on the outside. We're actually going to plant some blue rug junipers on there so that the roots can establish something to hold that together. Plus you'll have the geogrid there, and if he wants to put some mulch on it, that geogrid actually helped hold the mulch in place a little bit better than he had some landscape fabric on it, and it was just sliding off on that. Down here we're going to, geogrid's going to overlap, and we're going to line this with riprap down here, and it's actually going to be the geogrid, and then you're going to have not landscape fabric, but the fabric I put down for the driveways, heavy duty stuff. It's going to be down here on the bottom, and it's going to overlap. So you're going to have riprap all along here to keep that from getting cut out anymore. And I actually, this curved that way really hard, so we took some of that curve out, and it's kind of more straight along here now. So that'll allow the water to flow on this side, which if this side gets eroded a little bit, that's okay, but we're actually going to have riprap and fabric on this side as well. And all of that I cut from there, I laid out on here because it just came down steep and then flattened out into this little peninsula. So I just laid that mud out there, and we hand raked that as good as we could, and use a hand tamper to kind of neaten it up and kind of slick it off so that the water run off that, and then we're going to establish some grass in there. So I was able to spread what we had cut out from here all in the yard over there, and compact everything in. And then we cut a swell in the back because water was coming from the neighbors, and it was flooding in right over there on the other side of the picnic table and going all in the yard. So we're cutting a swell over there where the water's coming in at, and it'll flow all the way down to this ditch, and that ditch will take it to the creek, and the creek will take it on away. So that's what we got done today. That's pretty much what I was shooting for to get done today, and I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at and how it looks. And tomorrow I'll be able to get a lot more video. It's just like I said, because this was so unstable, very soft, I'm reaching out across there, and plus I was using the bucket on reverse. So I put the bucket on there backwards and kind of scooped it like a steam shovel, if you will. And so that's that for today. We're cleaning the tracks off. We're getting ready to take that up to the upper side of the property because we had to access it through a fence because we can't come down that hill. And so we cut the swell out right here. So everything slopes down from up there. We're going to rake all that in tomorrow. But everything flows down here and out that little swell that I cut. And from here, this was all low too. It all flows down that way. So we've checked it with a level, made sure we're good to go on our slope. And so we got a lot of hand raking out, kind of smearing the mud around, and then we're gonna plant some dense shade grass seed and hope it takes. But a lot of this is neatening up by hand stuff. We just needed to get done. The neighbor let us in, so we needed to get done with the excavator today down here. So tomorrow we'll be running everything from up there. So tomorrow is shoveling dirt and packing it in. So ought to be a interesting, fun day. That's what we got so far. And like I said, I'll be sure to get more video tomorrow. And it was just hard to keep up with it today. Had so many moving parts going. So and had no room to maneuver. This is what I've been trying to maneuver in. We got manholes and trees and uneven slopes and very soft ground. It's just been a recipe for a very trying time. So we'll get a lot of video tomorrow, and I'll piece it together and it'll look pretty good, and we'll show you some more shots when we're done.